was true. Now who said what? Oh, that's so new. Royal voices with the business just for you. Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Yeah. We in the top. What is going on, y'all? It is your boy KVNGJAY, and we are here for episode 5 of Royal Voices motherfucking podcast season 2. Okay, wrap it up, season 2. Yay, y'all. How y'all doing out there? I feel like we have been discombobulated these last few episodes, child, because, you know, I've been trying stuff and, you know, all this other stuff. Baby, we back to our regularly scheduled program. And, y'all, you know, at this point, I feel like I always come into the show saying how crazy shit is because the world is fucking wild. And at this point, I don't even be gagged no more. It don't even take me out. I don't even be surprised no more at this point. It's a lot. As always. So we're gonna get into some things on today. But before we get into all of that, y'all, this is Royal Voices Podcast, the official podcast of Kvngdom, a creative hub for music, art, and fashion, a space where we uplift creators in a variety of ways through networking, events, engagement, spotlights, and a ton of other things. So y'all make sure y'all lock in with the brand Kvngdom on Instagram and TikTok at KVNGDOM.co. On Instagram and TikTok, and then follow the podcast, of course, Royal Voices Podcast on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok at Royal Voices Podcast, all one motherfreaking word. And of course, stay up to date with your boy King, that would be me, on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON_, and the link tree in my bio will have access to all the other things we be getting involved in. And then lastly, Kvngdom.com. Okay? Yay, get into it. KVNGDOM.com. You can find Kvngdom Essentials, our official merch line of the space for Kvngdom. Make sure y'all tap in, get out some merch on today. Y'all, it's a day. It's a day. I really want to get it right into things, like, honestly and truly, because I feel like it's so much to talk about. Like, from politics, child, to the creative space, to, you know, all these other things. It's a lot going on. Ooh. Do y'all see what I'm talking about? I'm trying to record the podcast, and that ain't just no text message. It's like we got some shit to handle. Okay? It's just stuff don't ever stop. But it's okay, because guess what? We don't stop either. So I do want to say this episode, even though I did say back to our regularly scheduled programming, this episode we will not be having artist spotlight. Aww. Yes, I know. And, you know, not this episode, but next episode, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. We're on the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Last episode, if I get to that, I went ahead and answered some of y'all questions. So it was the artist spotlight of the boy King here. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. But, yeah, I think I was trying out to either do the episode standalone and then artist spotlight step standalone. But I personally liked it as it being one space. Like it being, okay, artist spotlight inside of Royal Voices episode. So we going back to our regularly scheduled programs. The way we do it. Yeah. So with that being said, it won't be on this episode because I just feel like it's a lot going on we can cover today. And it's not like, you know, not because the artist for artist spotlight poured out last minute or nothing like that. Nothing like that. But, you know, artist spotlight will resume next episode, okay? Episode 6. Hey. All right, T. Y'all. Let's get into this episode because it's a lot. So let's go ahead and spin it over to the politics. Now, Y'all, I'm going to go ahead. Like I said before, this is not a political podcast, but what I do try to inform you all on are the bigger things going on politically, because I feel like we are in a media overload space, baby. I could sit here for days. Every 5 minutes, it feel like it's some breaking news. Oh my God, this is finna, oh my, this is that. It's so much shit, okay? And if you want to, stretch yourself out, by all means, go to TikTok, type in politics, and just scroll. But what we gonna do here, I'm giving you the bigger picture topics. Would love for you to go ahead and explore. Google is free. Go ahead and read articles. NPR, Reuters, AP, News, all of these spaces that can give you some good insight on what's going on outside of just watching stuff on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Okay, so last episode, I think I chatted a bit about the big, beautiful, great bill that the Orange Man is trying to promote and get passed as law. I did break down that bill, so if you want to learn more about that, go ahead and watch the previous, I believe, episode 4 of the podcast, where I went ahead and broke that down a little bit and kind of, shared how that impacts people. But I am going to give an update while we are here. So I have an article from Reuters. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So I'm going to read a little bit of this bill, but this is from Reuters. Headline is Trump U.S. Senate Republicans face test as big, beautiful bill deadline looms. This was written on June 23rd. So, really quick, U.S. President Donald Trump and his allies in the Senate face a political free-for-all over passage of his sweeping tax cut and spending legislation, which Republican congressional leaders hope to enact in coming days despite growing resistance from different party factions. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, House Speaker Mike Johnson, and administration officials are pressing Republican lawmakers to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill Act so Donald Trump can sign it into law before the July 4th Independence Day holiday. Okay. But hardline Republicans have redoubled their push for additional spending cuts after an official forecast that the bill would add at least $2.8 trillion to the $36.2 trillion U.S. debt. Other lawmakers looking to minimize the impact of cuts on social programs, including Medicaid, have also voiced adamant opposition to the bill's language. Republicans control the Senate by a 53-47 majority and the House by 220 to 212. One Republican from each chamber has opposed the legislation from the beginning due to the debt. Thune aims to begin Senate action by the middle of this week and complete passage by the weekend, sending the bill back to the House for final approval. Trump is expected to turn up the heat on senators this week, according to Republican lawmakers who view him as the closer. Great unity in the Republican Party, perhaps unity like we've never have seen before. Now, let's get the great, big, beautiful bill done, Trump said in social media post on Sunday. Lawmakers are still waiting for the Senate parliamentarian, the chamber's nonpartisan gatekeeper, to decide whether the legislation qualifies for the privileged status needed to circumvent Democrats and the 60-vote Senate filibuster and pass it only with 51 votes. So, currently, this bill is sitting within the Senate. I believe it did narrowly pass the House, initially. Like I said before, this bill is, long story short, not good if you are majority of Americans in the country, and are good things if you are the top 20% of the country, the wealthiest in the country. So I feel like the more and more this administration does, that continues to showcase the classist society that we are clearly in. It's things happening for the rich. And if you don't make a certain amount of income, baby, you are impacted. Your bills will be affected. I do want to make another Trump passes before July 4th. The 4th of July is actually next week, Thursday, which is crazy enough. But next week is 4th of July, and they're, again, trying to just do a stunt because, imagery. And, I'm all for vibes and themes and shit hitting on point. So I'm very much calling out that he's trying to make a point. Just like that Flap Ass Parade, which we'll get into it momentarily. But I truly do despise this Lorax looking motherfucker. As I mentioned before, the bill, just in a nutshell, makes taxes go up for majority of Americans. The highest specifically for the lowest of the 20% of income earners in the country. So if you are in the bottom of the bottom, your tax is going to be the highest. Literally cuts, Medicaid. So millions of people are on Medicaid to fund specifically the tax breaks of the wealthy. So, that program will be gone. And it does do, the tax on overtime. I will give that to y'all. It does. It does do the tax on overtime. But, because it's a gag. And like I said, the saying is the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So for my working class folks out there who rely on tips or have a base pay and, really enjoy their tips, the no tax on tips, I'm going to read this verbatim because I wrote it down and I really want people to understand without me trying to be slick, funny, hee hee ha ha. The no tax on tips pitch sounds pro-worker. It sounds like you're going to have more money in your pocket, but it actually helps businesses more by cutting their payroll tax obligations while reducing long-term benefits like Social Security for workers. So because there's no tax on tips, your employer doesn't have to match these things. And on top of that, not taxing tips that already don't get reported to begin with doesn't really do anything. And furthermore, everything else around you will increase. So the same analogy I gave, I believe the last episode about the $10. If I give you a $10 raise, you're going to be so happy. Hee hee ha ha, $10 more. But if everything around you increases in price by $50, $60, $80, $100, what the hell did that $10 do? Right. So I'm really sharing these things, not to piss nobody off, not to scare nobody, but to really make sure y'all understand it's a joke. This bill is a joke. This bill is shitty as hell for most of the country. And the way people are boastering, specifically about that damn no tax shit on tips, half you hoes don't even qualify for overtime. Let's start there. Okay, half of y'all don't even do overtime. On top of that, for the people who do overtime and get tips and stuff like that, it's been written in a way to make you believe it's benefiting you. It's been written in a way on paper to look effective, but in reality not do shit. Top of that, this bill costs trillions of dollars that we don't have. The country literally cannot afford. Bills are affected. Literally cannot afford it. So it's like we have to really be conscious of this space that we are in. And I really need y'all to start being more attuned to the shit that impacts you on a daily day. You know what I'm saying? Daily basis, day to day. The amount of people I be hearing who's so loud and so motherfucking wrong are the jokes of the situation. And it's unfortunate because your ignorance is being capitalized on. They are hoping you don't research. They are hoping you don't learn. They are hoping you don't watch them podcasts. They are or listen to them podcasts. They are hoping that you don't watch the news. They're hoping that you don't read these bills. They're hoping that you don't. And they know a lot of y'all won't. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I would really encourage y'all to get more engaged and involved and active in your day-to-day because, baby, it's impacting you whether you're aware of it or not. So, Senate, please don't piss me off. But, at this point in the world we are in today, I would not be surprised if y'all do. But please recognize the detriment to this. And I want people to understand the harder people's lives are, the less income people have, the less access to resources people have. It increases poverty. When poverty increases, crime increases. You get what I'm saying? And to my people who you know what I'm saying, been down, you know the vibes. You know how that shit go. If I ain't got it and you do it, you a lick. That's a quick, easy. No, if it come down to me or you, really, I ain't got to think. You get what I'm saying to you? So y'all are really in a space right now that could shift the trajectory of this entire country once again. So Senate, don't piss me off. And I'm hoping and praying that y'all don't. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Next up on the politics segment, we have protests and a flop parade. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna just read this damn article. This comes from NPR, and this is a kind of takeaway from these things. So, if you were unaware, Donald Trump held a parade, I believe, last weekend. Celebrating the military, quote unquote, but maybe it fell on his birthday too. And on top of that, there were also protests happening at the same time. So let me go ahead and get into this article. It's from NPR. It's titled 3 Takeaways from the Military Parade and No King's Protest on Trump's Birthday. The U.S. Army celebrated its 250th anniversary on Saturday with a massive military parade in Washington, D.C. against a backdrop of political division and protests savaging President Trump's rippling across the country. Trump, who's 79, this man is 79. When y'all calling Joe Biden old? 79? What the hell, bitch? That made motherfucking sense. Why he act the way he do? This bitch is senile. 79. Read the article. Trump's 79th birthday corresponded with the Army's anniversary, had long dreamed of holding such a display of America's military might. The parade stirred up controversy for what opponents view as a politicalization of the nation's armed forces and a break from U.S. democratic norms, and sparked an organized No Kings protest movement across the country on Saturday. So the first thing that they wanted to kind of speak of is this rain. I guess it was a whole conversation behind if it literally rained on this motherfucker's parade. And the article saying stormy clouds didn't rain on the parade. Despite threats of lightning and storms rolling into D.C., the parade went ahead as advertised. It featured dozens of armored tanks and vehicles such as HIMARS, HIMARS, Army aircraft, including Black Hawk helicopters and Apaches, APACHES, and more than 6,000 uniformed troops. The idea was to walk viewers through the history of American military conflict, with some historical uniforms and vehicles being used. It does say it rained. However, they just went ahead with the parade anyway. So it didn't stop the parade, but it literally rained on this motherfucker's parade. God was all right. And y'all, this imagery is really wild. Like, it looks like North Korea. It looks like them like clips back in the day when they would be at like them Hitler rallies. Additionally, 34 horses, 2 mules, and 1 dog, a blue heeler named Doc Holliday, joined the march. Mike Davis, a 30-year Army serviceman who was at the parade as a spectator, said he welcomed the flashy affair that the military had been overdue for a big bash. The second thing was Trump got the thing he wanted for years, which apparently was this parade. I guess he tried to do this in his first term, but it got shot down because it was told to be too expensive. But he got the idea originally from attending the annual Bastille Day parade in France in 2017, a parade that celebrates French mobs taking over the Bastille State Prison in 1789. Trump further said that the Army keeps us free, you make us strong, and tonight you've made all Americans very proud, he said. Every other country celebrates their victories. It's about time America did too. That's what we're doing tonight. After the speech, Trump was presented with a traditionally folded American flag, a gift usually reserved for the family members of fallen soldiers. Did y'all know that Trump dodged the draft? Yeah. So seeing something like that and having veterans in my family, that's crazy. That is wild. And on top of that, you're not having this parade to just salute, the military and things that they've done. You're doing this for an ego trip. But we'll get to that momentarily. Lastly, protests spring up across the country. So the No Kings protests, as I mentioned before, were happening all throughout the United States. Organizers estimated that more than 5 million people participated in more than 2,000 planned protests, according to spokesman Eunuch Ortiz. While protests were peaceful, police in Culper, Virginia, arrested a man who intentionally accelerated his vehicle into a dispersing crowd at the end of a protest. One person was hit, but no one was hurt. One person was hit with the car, but no one was hurt. These protests were really, really successful. They happened all over the country. I think there was a lot of attention that came specifically because of the fact that it's happening at the same time as this big-ass parade that cost $45 million to really get into. So with that kind of being understood, the clownery behind that bill alone, and to only have less than 2,000 people at your event, I just want to say, I think this is an ego moment. And personally, I really just hate a forced attention asshole. I don't like nobody who feels the need to try to create spectacles for attention. You doing too much. You know what I'm saying? You doing too motherfucking much. And to be spending $45 million on a parade. People can't eat. Y'all are literally trying to cut funding for social programs and stuff based on this ideology of reckless spending or wasteful spending, and bitches are buying tanks to ride down the street and do a loop and go back on a truck back to a military base. Are you what? It's clownery. It's really truly clownery. And then to have the protest on top of this parade not only happen, but happened in the magnitude of which it did. These protests reached levels of the George Floyd protests, Earth Day protests. These was one of the most successful and well-attended protests in modern day history. So I do want to clap it up for the people. Clap it up for the people. Cause that's, turn that bitch up. Turn it up. Yeah. And some attention did get brought to LA specifically because there were protests happening and some of them became unpeaceful, which, I thought about this. And is it right to have unpeaceful protests? Nah. Always try to protest peacefully. But was it justified to crash the fuck out? Abso-fucking-lutely. Because imagine your friend, your family member getting snatched up off the street by an unidentified person in a motherfucking hoodie and a ski mask, put into an unmarked white van, and then they drive off. Is that not a kidnapping? And the response that I've heard specifically from that right side about, oh, well, that's not kidnapping. They don't deserve to have due process. I'm personally waiting for the moment where an ICE agent gets hurt because people did not know they were an ICE agent. It's not clear. You come in here with a vest that may say police or that may say agent. I can buy some shit like that off Amazon. Y'all, I did a movie where I was just a side little extra or whatever, and I played a police officer. I never realized how easy it is to look like you belong in Law and Order SVU. All you need is a black pea coat, some shades, a little badge with a chain around it, and a strip around your waist. and boom, you look like an officer. It's not, and it's not safe. It's not safe. Do y'all know how many people I grew up with? People in classrooms who wanted to feel like they was somebody important, who wanted to feel like they was the law and order. And I don't want to make fun of nobody, but kids who were like, see maybe a fight happening right in the hallway, and they would come up in the middle of the hallway on some Disney Channel shit and be like, "Stop this now, or I will get the teacher." Like, what? Get your clown ass out of here. Picture that as a 30-year-old. Do y'all know how dangerous that is? That you can get a whole police outfit off Amazon. And one thing that this article did not cover is the fact that somebody actually did impersonate a police officer. Yes. And they went to the homes of Democratic congressmen and unalived them and their partners. Well, one pair, and then the other pair were just hurt, but they, I believe, made a full recovery, are making a full recovery. But the person that did that pretended to be a police officer. We are in a weird time, and this literal visual of a country divided is so crazy. On one hand, you got a parade celebrating the armed forces, the military, and all that great stuff that coincides with the president and administration birthday. And on the other, you have over 5 million people protesting the very leader that's holding this celebratory event. That's not speculatory. That's not hearsay. It's in your face. And tensions are at a space where I really feel like some shit on the horizon. I really, really do. And seeing people in LA specifically throwing rocks at cars and stuff, I personally felt it was justified because you had me fucked up. You just grabbed who out off the motherfucking street. You just grabbed who out of a kid's graduation. I'm personally a person that really practices combatants all the time. At work, with my friends, with my family. You have the right one wrong idea. At complacency, what Adele said, complacency is the worst trait to have. Are you crazy? You ain't never had a nigga like me. I just don't like a by the book rule following ass how, like, ugh. Follow the rules, yes, please. We have rules for a reason. But I really do believe that gray area exists for a reason. And there's a time to abide by the rules, and it's a time to say, fuck you. And I specifically reserve them fuck yous for people being harmed, people being put in danger, and people doing things that make no motherfucking sense. So for those protests that was happening that were not necessarily peaceful, were they right? No. Should they be happening? No. Be peaceful in your protests. Please. That's your First Amendment right to do protests. But keep them peaceful. But do it make sense to crash the fuck out? Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. And to sit and be like, well, we need to deploy the National Guard. Or stop doing the corrupt shit you're doing. You're deploying the National Guard unconstitutionally and against the orders and wishes of the governor of the fucking space you're trying to call the damn National Guard to. It's shit like this in this last story, child, while Biden said in his very last speech, remember y'all motherfucking oath. Every service worker, every military individual, every person in that conflict space, remember your oath. And with that being said, I'm going to also tell citizens, remember your rights, your constitutional rights. I'm going to leave that there. Now, going into this last story for the politics segment, y'all, you know, I'm not a person that likes to say I told you so, but I feel like since 2025 has started, and Spirit, God forgive me, because it does inflate my ego. It do. I'm working on it. That's some shadow work I'm working on. But bitch, we told you so. I told you so. Kamala told you so. Democrats told black people. Told you so. Black women told you so. And it's almost as if Kamala motherfucking Harris had a crystal ball. Or she put two and two to fucking together. Or she watched what the fuck was going on and made some motherfucking conscious decisions and hypotheses on what the hell would be going on. Y'all, people think I'm psychic all the time. Sometimes I am. I ain't gonna hold you. I be having them, don't get me wrong. Face ass. I really do be having the moments. But sometimes it's just a matter of observation and certainty. The same way Kamala Harris said this man was going to lead us to war, we, the United States of America, is officially in war with Iran. Yes, child. So this is the biggest gag, gotta be, because I remember specifically during, the campaigning, oh, this is the pro-peace ticket. If you vote for Trump and Vance, you're going to be voting for the no wars. What happened to Kamala Harris is so emotional. She's a woman and she doesn't know how to not go into war. She's going to get us into World War III. It's really crazy because Trump, with this Iranian situation, Iranian. With this Iran situation, Trump actually pulled us out of an agreement we had with Iran that kept their nuclear progressions and interest in check. Trump pulled us out of this agreement in 2018. Okay? Thus giving the room to Iran to start working on nuclear capabilities. Okay? That's a fact. Y'all can go look into that. And I'm saying that because after this situation has happened, the amount of motherfreaking debates that I've been watching with these Trump supporters and stuff, the cognitive dissonance is at a level of concern I've never seen in my life. Never seen in my life. So I don't have an article for this because I just feel like right now the news is having a hard time, staying up to date with everything that's going on. But in a nutshell, I'm gonna try to get this down for y'all to understand. So, mind you, this is all in less than 6 months. Less than 6 months of Donald Trump's presidency, we are officially in a war. So, boom. Israel, as y'all know, been dropping bombs all over the Middle East, child. They've been at war with Palestine genocidally, because it's a genocide. It's a genocide. Free Palestine, because it's a genocide that America has been funding. That's been happening. And on top of that, Israel has been bombing other spaces, Lebanon, all these other areas. And at a point, Trump was talking about how Netanyahu which is the leader of Israel, how he's just so uncontrollable. I don't know what's going on with him. He's just not listening to me. While at the same time having interest in the thing that Israel is doing, but I digress. So that's been happening. Israel decided last week to bomb Iran. And this attack unalived several key leaders in military bases in Iran, and so a lot of key prominent leaders and commanders were unalived in that attack. This attack that Israel launched happened. Netanyahu, bitch ass, got on a plane, went to Greece right after the bombs dropped, and tweeted, "Yeah, they gonna swing back. They gonna attack us back, and it may be in waves. So y'all be safe out there." That's what the leader of Israel did. Okay. Then for some reason, had this believing notion that Iran wasn't going to attack back. Even though he said they would, for some reason, people thought they weren't. And they did. So they started bombing Tel Aviv and sending missiles and stuff up there. And that really was crazy to see. I've never seen an Iron Dome in effect before. I guess Israel has this Iron Dome system that like stops missiles coming to a space. And some things kind of went up and came down. Some things landed. But the what I truly found a key was the Israeli armed forces hiding with like civilians, with like kids and women. It was crazy. Then this is atrocious. Why are they bombing us? This is crazy. This is a war crime. This is the things they were saying in less than 24 hours was crazy, because where was this energy with Palestine? Anyway, Trump decided when this started, happening, Trump decided to tell Iran to stop, right? Stop that. Iran kept going, because what the fuck? What the hell, Leonte? They went to the playbook that, America really don't redesign, just wait some time to re-implement, and said, you know what, we have to strike Iran because they have nuclear capabilities, which was the same thing George Bush said when they first went to the Middle East for war. So then Trump decided to go ahead and approve strikes on 3 Iranian military bases that specifically were working on nuclear capabilities, which Trump is the reason that was even a space, right? Because he pulled us out of the agreement to not have those bases in 2018. So since 2018, they've been working on these things because of Trump. All of this is because of Donald Trump. So the bombs came down. Iran said, you know what, it's up and it's stuck, and y'all started it, we gonna finish it. Everybody talking about, okay, well, America, it was only a certain group of people that was doing this. It was all this commentary on TikTok. It was a key. Iran responded and then went ahead and bombed a U.S. military base in Qatar. It was alleged that they did one in Iraq as well, but I believe that was debunked and not classified or confirmed not to be true. The one that Iran didn't hurt anybody, didn't kill anybody. Iran actually was courteous and called America and said, hey, we finna shake our bases, go ahead and evacuate all that. Same thing with what Trump did when it came to the Iranian bases, told them, evacuate these bases and stuff like that. So kind of like a tit for tat situation, but Trump very much said when they did the first strike, if y'all strike us back, if y'all retaliate, we will get more, even bigger bombs on y'all, right? Trump didn't do that. Because after Iran struck, that was quickly double backed on. And Trump came out talking about there's a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran. And within less than 12 hours, the bombs will stop in less than an hour. In less than an hour of that announcement from Trump, Israel went ahead and dropped more bombs. And Iran went up back and started sending some more missiles. So we are at this moment currently still at war with Iran as they are at war with Israel. Israel did say they would activate sleeper agents. Said they would activate sleeper agents in the country that are already here. And y'all, that took me out because I'm like, hold up. Sleeper agents? That's a real thing? That's like on some Marvel Bucky type shit? Okay. And then it also came out that Trump already knew it was sleeper agents in this bitch. He was already aware, just didn't tell people. So it was like, which I mean, makes sense, you're the president. So I'm pretty sure y'all got some, again, Obama went in that whole full head of black hair, came out all gray, old. So I know there's information that the general public would never know or never have access to until necessary or until it's essential. But that's crazy. So with that being said, I really hope our military folks are safe. Y'all know it's y'all right and y'all duty and y'all oath to go against unlawful commands. You get what I'm saying? I know some of y'all, cause I saw a video the other day talking about why people can't just say no in the military. I know some of y'all don't know nothing else besides the military. I know some of y'all don't know where you would go if you were not in the military. But child, I'm saying it on this damn camera now. Stand the fuck up. Don't be complacent to dictators. Do not be complacent to just mindless orders. You are people. Now, I know some of y'all ain't gonna give a damn. Some of y'all crash outs, and I believe truly a lot of psychopaths and people who just want to do government-sanctioned murder is part of the military. For sure. For sure. But I'm telling y'all now, if a war break out, because Russia and Korea already came out saying we gonna back Iran. And one thing, Trump stupid, but he ain't crazy. One thing he don't want is people playing with nuclear power. Okay, and that's why I really believe he's siding with Israel right now, because they got nuclear capabilities, and that scares him. He ain't stupid. He's stupid, but he ain't crazy. But I want y'all to know this is very, 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 very clear now to the Trump administration and military forces, the citizens of this country, that y'all swear up, down, left, and right gonna go and be drafted possibly, y'all got fucked up. Okay? I'm just telling you what the people saying. Now, what we have agreed on is if you are a Trump supporter, if you are MAGA, if you own a hat, you are the first one on them boats. First one, 18, I believe, to 39 is the cap now, 40. Man and woman, yeah, pick them on up first. Every Trump supporter, every motherfucker who got MAGA in their bio should be the first one on our list. Because if y'all send a letter to Josh, if y'all send a letter to me, I got some tricks in my sleeve. I'm just being $100 being 50 honest with you. I'm not. I. And that's not just me. That's majority of the people. Y'all got the right group of people today. I'm sorry. We are not fighting for y'all. We are not fighting for y'all. Especially some dumb shit. Y'all fighting over dumb shit. Shit we don't even got to be involved in. So, yeah, y'all, people have asked me in the past why I stopped doing politics in our first season. This is why. It really pisses me the fuck off. My head hurts. That's just the news articles, bitch. That wasn't Josh taking commentary. That wasn't Josh making fun of shit. That was me crashing out on other stupid shit I've heard. The rhetoric, the space we are in as a country with this stupid shit is so concerning. And the energy, the spirit y'all are emboldening, I ain't never seen before. Do y'all understand? These last 5 months, the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life has been in these last 5 months. I've heard people say and justify and side with so many sick things. I've heard people justify slavery. I've heard people justify rape and sexual assault, homophobia, literal murder. I had a woman, I gotta say it. I had a woman at one of these events I went to for work get into this little debate with people during this event about the president being a rapist for social media purposes, being a rapist. And this woman responds, what? She looked me dead in my eyes. Out of a group of people, just a group of people, I was the closest dude next to her, the closest boy next to her. She looked at me, said, hey, you a boy, right? So you understand what it's like to just get the urge to have sex with women, even if they don't want to. What? And then followed up with saying, that's just the natural way guys feel. Men feel like that. And this is a woman telling me it's just the urge men have to rape people or to sexually harass, sexually assault people because we just want to have sex, and even if you don't want to have sex, we still want to have sex. You know, with that being said, I really just want us all to really be more attentive to what's going on around us, because shit is hitting the fan very fast. All of my bordering states, I don't know what tomorrow brings. I'm not going to sit here and act like I do. But I really just want to tell people to be safe, be vigilant, be attentive to their surroundings, be cautious of large gatherings. I do want to make sure we do not revert back to the climate we were in during 9/11. From what I've learned and understood, there was a lot of mistreatment to people from the Middle East. That's where a lot of the terrorism stereotypes have started rooting from. Let's not. For anybody, for Jewish people, for Muslim folks, for, you know what I'm saying, Arabian people, don't feed into the rhetoric. They're fear-mongering. They're trying to scare you. The same way they've convinced you to be scared of undocumented people, the same way they've convinced you to be scared of black people with hoodies, the same way they convince you to be scared and racist to Asian people during COVID, is the same thing that they're doing right now. Unify. I'm done. Stay up to date. Well, of course, keep y'all in the loop of what's going on. And again, read. Google is free. Stay up to date with all the news going on. Now, y'all, it's time for that creative advice. Okay, let's get into it. Now, for today's creative advice, protect your peace, your space, but your motherfucking spirit as well. Okay? You know, I have been watching a lot of podcasts, movies, and stuff as of lately, but also been getting into a lot of interviews, right? It's a lot of interviews with people in various creative facets, musicians, producers, fashion designers, directors, and stuff like that, actors and actresses. And I've noticed a few common things throughout these stories that people have been sharing. And a lot of the plot or potholes they've fallen into because of the company they kept around them, as well as their attentiveness to things around them and people around them and energies around them. Now, I'm the kind of person that has truly grown over the years and being very, 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 very focused on not only the people I'm around, the spaces I am in, but the energetic spaces I occupy or people may occupy around me. And I'm saying that just being a very spiritual individual, I feel there's things that we can be visibly aware of, but I feel like there's things that we are energetically, spiritually attuned to that serves as warning signs or discernment for situations, places, things, and people. It's the same kind of energy that when you walk into a room and you like, is you hoes okay? Why it's so sad up in here? You know, that's discernment. That's an energetic response to your energy. You can walk in the room and feel something ain't right. You know what I mean? Or a person comes around you, and you know this person that you just met, fresh off the press, brand new individual, or who'll get around you, or start talking around you, and you like, something off. I don't know what it is, but something off. That's discernment. That's your energy saying, hey, pay attention, warning, pay attention. It's not always loud, it's not always in your face, but it's an innate feeling. And that's a side of it, but a lot of the things people get into when it fucks them over is some shit you could have really put two and two together for. Like I said earlier, some people really think I'm psychic. And sometimes I am. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's very much giving future tease. But sometimes it's a space of me observing, stopping. If 2 + 2 = 4, what the fuck is this? And coming to a conclusion. Deductive reasoning, context clues are really good ways of figuring out if something makes sense, something makes no sense, if something's bad, something's good. It's not rocket science, but that deeper spiritual piece is something else. So I do want to divide this up a little bit. So for that physical part, where I'm saying be attentive, I think a lot of times people are in spaces with people or with friends that do not mean well for them. And in these creative spaces, like I've said on prior episodes, especially when you first started out, these spaces can be very, very hard to not only navigate, but really get understanding of, especially if you don't have a lot of references, people around, sources to kind of really pull from. It's just you. So when you are starting making your music, when you starting to act, when you're starting to build your business, that vision has to be with you. You know what I'm saying? But a big part of growth is community. And I talked about this before as well, where that community takes time to build, and it, starts out with you, then 10 people, then 100, so on and so forth. But you have to be really intentional and attentive to the community in which you're building, especially in close proximity. When we're in these social media spaces, I can't really control who follows, who likes, who subscribes, who comments. It's not for me to. I make this content, I make these things, I put them out in the world, and it brings people in. And I hope it resonates with other people, thus, creating this relationship that grows over time, right? Through the content, through our interactions, through our engagement. When you're in personal connections with people, specifically, I keep saying your friends, your friend groups, right? We have friends and family around us who may not always wish us the best, or may portray in a way that we think we're safe, that we think we're protected, that we think we're okay, that we think we're supported, and the whole time is deceptive. I love, like I've been saying, I can't wait for y'all to hear this music, y'all, because this music, I'm so excited for this music. I really am, because I feel it really is where I'm at in life. There's a line in one of my new songs where I say, we could be celebrating wins. They're right there by your side, all smiles, but whole time they wishing you die. Pure things, good vibes, genuine things only. Yeah. And I that bar came to me because through watching these interviews and stuff, and listening to stories, not just in this social media space, not just on YouTube and all that, but like personal experiences I've had with people in these creative spaces, at these conferences, at these camps and stuff. People are not always visibly, physically aware or even telling that they're a problem, or that they wish you harm, or that they wish you demise or fail. Like they hope that you fail. People will switch up on you. People that you thought you could confide in, people that you thought you could reside in and stuff. And what's crazy is a lot of the times you'll see signs of this. Growing up, my mama will always tell me how to identify a friend, right? How to identify your partner. It's many tests. Many tests. I'm going to give y'all a few. If you go out somewhere, say you going to McDonald's, keep it simple. You going to McDonald's, and your friend know you got $2 to your name. That bitch pull up to the drive-thru window and say, let me get the menu. Let me get big chicken, a McDouble, chicken nuggets, French fries, chicken wrap, McFlurry, all of it, right? And then they get their order total. Then they look over at you, knowing you have only $2 to your name, and say, Was you getting something? Better yet, you out with a group of friends and somebody in the group start talking about you. And I don't mean playing. Like I don't mean like, oh, just ripping your ass, flaming your shit, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, hi. But like really on your ass. Ain't you homeless? Did your mama just die? I don't know. And it's just going. And nobody in the group stops this. Nobody in the group says anything. Nobody in the group defends you. Or even simply says, hey, chill out. We ain't doing that here. Them are signs. Small, but signs to show you people can't be trusted. Or you tell somebody something and you know you only told that person something, and the next day the whole block, the whole street, the whole state know what you told that one person. No matter how personal, whatever it was, it's little things. And as a teenager, as a young adult, it's not always easy to identify that. But when you get like 23 and up, 22 and up, it becomes visible. It's very clear. It's very clear. You know who do this well? Women. Girls do this real well. Sometimes younger folks have a hard time deciphering and will nitpick at certain things and hyperinflate things in their head. But women, and I mean grown women, can spot it from the way you walk. That ain't your friend. I've had people in my life, my mom and my dad, but my mom specifically would point out like, I don't like them. And I would get there, what's going on? Did you tripping? Baby, I don't like them. I don't like them. You get what I'm saying? It's an innate thing. And part of it is how you treat people. So that's the first thing I want to say. Treat people right. Treat people right. That is a telltale sign of who you fuck with and who you truly don't give a fuck about. I don't care what title you have, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, mama, daddy, sister, uncle. If they don't treat you right, if they don't treat you with respect, they don't give a fuck about you. Another thing could be is proximity. See who communicates and talks and interacts with you in different seasons. You get what I'm saying? Are you noticing people around you only when you got money? Are you noticing nobody's fucking with you when you broke? Are you noticing when you down bad and you need assistance, people actually helping you? Or do you notice when you down bad and need assistance, can't nobody be found? You get what I'm saying? But when they need it, they blowing your phone up. When they need it, they get mad at you if you don't help them. You get what I'm saying to you? Observe those signs. Observe those signs. Those are things you can physically see. Observe. Did they just all leave you? You ain't got no ride nowhere? How you getting home? Your friend just pulled off in their own car with 2 open seats and told you to call an Uber. Y'all going the same direction. What's going on? Simple things. It's little things. Very, very little things. Now, on that spiritual level, and this is where I have been a lot more attentive, because that physical, I feel like I can, So I got to a place where it's just like, The way you said that, nope, you weird. Move around. I feel solidified in that, but that spiritual one is what I'm growing in. Because that spiritual, what's crazy, your spirit will discern you the minute you wake up. Your spirit will tell you, today gonna be a weird one. Be careful. Your spirit will tell you the minute you walk into a room. You ain't gotta talk to nobody. You ain't gotta see the minute you pull up to the spot. The minute you pull up your car down that road. Something don't feel right. The more you become into recognizing yourself and trusting yourself, the stronger your discernment becomes. You get what I'm saying? It's certain things you have to be able to listen to. And with these creatives, I've noticed they've ignored signs, especially in the growth and climb of their careers. When things are happening so fast, it's hard to really be attentive to what's going on, because your vision is so set on your goal, you on what's happening around you. You're just so happy that you may not notice they stealing money from you. You're so happy about getting the deal, you don't even realize you just sold your soul essentially for the next 10, 15 years. Your Lord didn't tell you that. You having a time in that club, popping bottles, sections out all on me. You not realizing them bottles is on you literally. When that bill comes, it's on you. And when the minute people see that check get written and placed on the table, half them hoes gonna leave. You get what I'm saying to you? It's something inside that can really be attentive to that. And for anything, and when I say protect your peace, your space, your spiritual self, I mean that. Because the same way you can be spiritually attuned to observing these things, other things can be spiritually attuned to identifying you. Identifying the greatness, the light in you, and will work in opposition against you. I don't understand this thing when people be sitting here talking about, I praise God, I praise Jesus, shout out to the angels. But the minute a demon get mentioned, it's open, that ain't a real thing. Demons are real. Spirits are real. Witches, witchcraft is real. Hoodoo, voodoo practitioners are real. And it may be televised in a way and dramatized in a way on social media and through media in general, of like lightning coming from the sky. Child, spirituality can be as subtle as an acorn falling on your motherfucking head. It can be as simple as you touching a glass. The power of life and death lies in your tongue. It can be in the jewelry you have on. People get cursed all the time. You know that one lady, I want to say it's Rick Owens' wife or something like that. But she had them black fingertips. She's a practitioner. And Hollywood is filled with spiritual works, spiritual workings, witches, warlocks, witchcraft. It's filled with it. It literally is. Variations, all these kind of things. It's all in it. And my thing with my Christians, baby, is people find this peace in bliss in just saying in the name of Jesus. Jesus is great. By all means, power is in the name of Jesus. But God also gave you the wisdom to navigate this plane with the tools and the resources and the knowledge you obtain. I've had guests on the show for Artist Spotlight and stuff who's talked about the source of the creativity is divine. It is. It is such a, it's a special place. And it's something not a lot of people can tap into for real. Creativity is a spark. It's an idea. It's a source of that. And I truly believe God is the source of all of that. But I also know there are beings and entities at play that hope you fuck around and find out. There's people in this plane, producers, A&Rs, designers, literal spiritual practitioners that are in these mixes in Hollywood, are in these film industries, are in these music, are in all these spaces that you will never notice and are influencing things in a way that you cannot identify. Another well-known one is Erykah Badu. You get what I'm saying to you? Another good one is Shaka Khan. People are all around. What they doing, good or bad, you don't know. But when I say be spiritually protective, I mean that. I would encourage y'all to really read and discern. Lean into you. And the more you identify you as a person, the more you know who you are, your capabilities, your strengths, your weaknesses, your gifts, the more attuned to everything around you you will become. But it takes time to develop an understanding of you as a person. And if you don't sit with yourself, if you don't talk to yourself, how I'm talking to y'all right now, I will sit sometimes in dead silence talking just like this to myself. How you feeling today? How my mental health doing? How am I physically feeling? Journal. Write some shit down. Set intentions, affirmations. Pray. Get your crystals and get into the vibes. But understand these spaces. These are not performative. It's not just for costume jewelry. When y'all see me wearing crystals and stuff and things like that, I stand behind. Listen, nobody knows everything on this realm. Nobody. And every single religious practice is practices off of faith and conviction. That's why I don't ever demean nobody's spiritual religious practices. That's why you will never hear me say you praising God wrong. The words say believe in your heart and confess with your mouth. You have to have conviction, intent, and belief. And a lot of creatives negate this side of things because it's popularized to believe it's not real. It's not a thing. It doesn't really matter. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter. And I'm not saying you can't live your life not being a spiritual or religious individual. You can definitely live your life. But when hell and high water comes around and comes about, those are things that you're experiencing because you were ill prepared. Life happens to everybody, don't get me wrong. But how you navigate it. You get what I'm saying? It's one thing just to pop a tire. It's one thing for your tire to pop after the tire warning light came on for a few miles. It's one thing for your car to just stop moving. It's another thing for your car to stop moving after the change oil light been on for the last 300 miles. You get what I'm saying? You can change outcomes. You can do a lot of things. When I say limitless, I really truly mean that, limitless. But that limitation of actually accessing limitless potential is you knowing you. And unfortunately, a lot of creators fight with themselves and got into situations that could have really been avoided. So protect your peace, protect yourself, protect your spiritual space, and be attentive to who you keep around you. Physically, you can observe some of those observations, but spiritually as well, because you don't know what other people doing. People put roots on each other. People be hexing each. Jesus, be Simone voice. Jesus, I'm gonna have that on the soundboard. Jesus, but no, you are divinely protected, and that's one thing. My whole family know we are divinely protected, baby. No weapon formed against us can prosper, and that's on Yeshua. But you also have been given tools and resources to protect yourself, to build up your defense. So please utilize them and be more serious about you as people. You know, take y'all seriously. Take yourself serious first and foremost. So with that being said, that will conclude our creative advice for this space. And y'all, again, in the world we are in today, not even just for creators, people in general, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of energy in the air. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Do not back down. Do not operate in fear. Be prepared. Prepare yourself. Be knowledgeable. The only thing that combats fear is understanding. But sometimes you have to be courageous and brave and push through that worry. Don't ever operate in fear. So y'all, let's go ahead and get to this. Let's talk about it with King. So, as y'all know, Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever name you operate in with this man, is on trial currently. And, it's been going on, I want to say about 6 or 7 weeks now, if I'm not mistaken. I've been kind of keeping up here and there with this whole case because, y'all, again, life has been life and the world has been literally in shambles. So this has been not on the highest of my priorities, but I went ahead and I checked in and I went ahead and caught up on everything going on with Mr. Puff. And y'all, since we last talked, I just jotted some things down here so we can kind of just recap. So if you haven't seen prior episodes of the episode, please go back, watch those, get into the vibe, because we do talk about the Diddy case a little bit in those prior episodes. I think even back all the way to season 1 is where I started talking about the initial charges, the raids, the allegations he had against him when his case first started, and then we started talking about the first few days and weeks into the trial. I think the last time we talked about this was like 2-3 weeks into the trial. So that's crazy. Time really flies. But since we last chatted about the situation, Diddy has gotten called out by the judge for vigorously nodding and stuff at the jurors. I don't know how you vigorously nod at people. But I guess he was doing that. There was also a thing, and I'm not 100% because I haven't seen this reported on heavily, but I guess there was a woman who I was either a juror or a person who testified who I think it was actually a juror, was one of the jurors who alleged that she was kind of like getting essentially stalked by, it sounds like, Diddy like supporters or Diddy workers. I don't know, but they kind of been asking her like, "Oh, what hotel are you staying at? What kind of what car do you drive?" Stuff like kind of creepy questions that make you wonder if your safety is in question or if you are truly okay. I have to look more into that, but I forget her name. She was mentioning that she had to change her hotel rooms a few times. So I'm not sure if this aspect is coinciding with the judge pointing out how he was nodding and stuff at jurors. But this was something that the judge did call out, and I'm assuming because it can be seen as him possibly influencing the jury and or intimidating the jury. On top of that, I learned Diddy be spending bands. I mean bands for little shit. Like Carisha truly had to be in her bag. I still haven't seen Young Miami pop up in this situation. In this case, she did share her 2 cents on her podcast. I believe it was Saucy Santana who interviewed her, and she kind of talked about the fact that she never seen these things or these sides of Diddy in their interactions with each other. So she didn't really have a lot to say about the case itself. But the way every person who's kind of gotten on this stand who's been associated with Diddy in either a job position or dating him or being his girlfriend, something like along those lines, talked about how he would just be cutting checks, like $20,000 a month allowances and stuff like that. One girl got paid $10K to go out with him for 5 days on vacation and stuff. So I'm like, Diddy, you cutting money. And Carisha, like I said, she was in her bag. She was smart, but it sounds like Diddy be doing a lot of shit that I personally would not agree with. But $20K a month in allowances? Chad. There's a lot of Jane Does being utilized in this case as well. Just under that titling, I'm not sure if they have protection or what, but I'm assuming because again, Jane Doe is one of those monikers that really don't reveal your identity. However, they have very similar stories, some similar to Cassie's story, where it's like, they were working with Diddy or cooperating with the things Diddy wanted to do because they loved him or they felt that they didn't do what he said to do, they would be in danger or their personal careers would be in danger. On top of that, it does sound like some of the girls have been jealous of other people. Like it was one witness who talked about kind of going along with everything and Diddy telling her like, yeah, I'm not only talking to you or whatever, and she was fine at the point, but as expected, once she kind of started seeing Diddy with other women and stuff on social media and all the other facets and stuff, it kind of made her feel some kind of way. Which, in situations like that, people who got open relationships and stuff, I always see some kind of rendition or variation of people getting mad, just not wanting to share no more or share on that level or kind of want more from that relationship. So that's been going on. The jury has also seen the freak off tapes allegedly. Right. I don't know if it's been the full. I don't believe it's been the full tapes. Like maybe like a couple snippets of each tape, but they've seen the tape, and I don't really know what these tapes add to personally, outside of just like maybe adding more visual context to the allegations that's been stated against him within these testimonies. Maybe it's just adding on to that, kind of giving you some more representation to corroborate those stories. But it's weird, and I'll cover that a little bit more momentarily. And then last day of testimony, I believe, was yesterday. So we are at the final stretch, and it sounds like this week they will have a verdict coming. So like I was saying before, with this whole situation, The case is crazy. Do not get me wrong. This case is really, 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 truly wild. I don't know how it can go for real. I don't really know how it's gonna go for real. And I'm saying that because I know in the beginning, I was first saying, yeah, this man going to jail. Just because of the allegations being so wild. And then once the testimony started, I'm like, damn, freaky ass nigga, he's a 69 God. You know what I'm saying? Like it very much painted this portrayal of him that, you know, he's violent. He is very, 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 very freaky. But I'm saying I don't know how this is gonna go because his lawyers are kind of spinning this like it's just his lifestyle of a rich, freaky motherfucker. And they kind of did it in the very beginning too, where they kind of conceded and was like, yeah, what y'all saying, like he's definitely aggressive, definitely violent, definitely a freaky motherfucker. But what y'all trying to allege against him in his RICO is not accurate. It's not 100% that situation. Oh, if he was getting charged like abuse or something like that, they would have just been like, yeah, you're guilty. But I guess they're seeing more than that. Like I said before in the prior episode, RICOs have a lot of aspects to it. Now, I don't foresee him just being not guilty. I don't see that at all. At all. I don't see that. I think the prosecution has had a very good case against them, or with them to kind of go against Diddy and stuff like that. And I feel like the government really is trying to paint a picture, a narrative. Now, what the intentions behind that, because I've been seeing everybody in them, I'm talking about some, well, this is just a scheme to take down a black billionaire, or a black millionaire, a black successful man. This is just a distraction from everything else going on in the world. And, you know, I personally understand those allegations and those perceptions, because everything is not what it seems. As I was saying all last season, everything is not what it seems, and two things can be true at once. Which is why I said in the very first time when we started talking about the case in general, I wanted people to understand the double play this serves. Like, on one hand, did he do these things? I truly believe he did. But on the other end, I also understand the intentional effort the powers that be put in to try to diminish black people. I also understand that when you reach a certain threshold of wealth, of income and stuff like that, people and powers that be start tripping out, because it's like, okay, you are entering spaces they feel you shouldn't be in, or you're entering spaces where they feel you have too much power or too much control or too much leverage, and they want to knock you down a peg. That's not conspiracy. That's happened. It's happened before, and it's nothing new by any means. But I also don't want to negate from the fact that people really be doing some fucked up crazy shit. You know what I mean? And in this situation, it sounds like Diddy was doing these things for sure. But I also understand the visual of how this all looks. You know what I mean? Especially at a time like this. So, I started have to say I don't feel like he's gonna just get not guilty, because again, they've already said he's a freaky motherfucker with some violent tendencies, abusive, yes, but he's not being charged for that. However, within that RICO space, they, in my mind, definitely have proved the sex trafficking aspect and bribery and stuff like that. Now, orchestrating a crime ring and all this stuff, I don't know how they gonna wrap that all up. And I know usually in court cases, the final, what is it called, the little speech that they give to like close the case out, that I feel like that's going to really wrap up the framing that Diddy's team wants the jury to take away with them. Same with what the federal government is kind of coming with as well. So I feel like we're going to see by July 4th, I believe that's the day that they have to currently to make a decision. They are able to get more time, but they're trying to do it before the holiday season and stuff comes, just to kind of get it all wrapped up. But I feel like they should take some time because, again, this is a situation that impacts a man's life. So, but I feel like, so they have until July 4th, I believe, to make a decision, but they can still get more time if necessary, for the jury to make a decision. And I feel like, honestly, they should really, in cases like these, review everything. I know how damning things may sound. I know how things may look. I know how things like, but like, verify and confirm. Read, confirm, go through stuff, thorough, due process. Please review all these things because these are people's lives, and whatever verdict comes will impact that man for the rest of his days. So I really hope that the time is taken to really review the case thoroughly. But I feel like he gonna either be found fully guilty, which I'm like 20-30% feeling that way. But I feel more that he's going to be found guilty for some of the charges, not all. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. His team is not bringing any witnesses to the stand, and I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing personally, because I'm not a lawyer. And in my mind, I think the Aquarius team, I was just telling this to some of my fraternity brothers the other day, some of the things with me is like being, I think that part of that Aquarius piece is having to prove a point. And I told y'all this before the show. I've had to grow from point proving because, baby, I will sit here and argue all day with you over shit I don't even give a damn about, but I want you to understand you wrong. I want to prove my point. And, I'm not sure. I had to grow to understand sometimes your point can be proven by saying nothing. Your point can be proven by not speaking at all, letting shit just play out. Your point will be proven. But your point may be proven sometimes by having to speak up and literally prove your point. So I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, but we should see. Again, they have until July 4th to deliberate. And yeah. This is crazy. I'm gonna keep saying I hope them kids is okay. I mean, as best as they can be, because this is wild. And I think that they said throughout this situation, throughout this case, this entire court trial has really been eye opening. Not only necessarily into the space of celebrity and stuff like that, as these always are, but just really understanding some of the habits and things people engage in those spaces. I don't know. Like I keep saying, Hollywood is very weird. Hollywood, however you want to call it. So many things happen behind closed doors, and I believe there's certain things you will never know as a consumer, as a supporter of individuals. And if you know, you know. And I feel like some people don't get access to these things unless they're in those circles. So I'm praying for a thorough review. I'm praying for a justful verdict, and I'm praying for the truth to shed light and to operate within that. So I'll keep y'all updated as I learn more, but we should be learning more by the next episode, so stay tuned. Next up on the motherfucking docket, R. Kelly being mistreated in prison. Yes, y'all, R. Kelly been locked up since that case with, proving sex trafficking. Very similar aspects in Diddy's situation. But the thing with Kelly he got locked the fuck up. So just kind of to provide a synopsis on what's going on, R. Kelly has been serving time in a federal prison, I believe in North Carolina or South Carolina, one of those. I could be wrong, but I want to say North Carolina, where he filed an emergency order to be released as of recently. All of this was kind of going on, and the reason why he actually requested for a emergency order to be released from his lawyers and teams is because they were alleging that prison officials teamed up with a gang leader to plot his murder. And, he was saying like, hey, I'm in danger, girl. So allegedly, according to what R. Kelly's team is saying, is that there's a gang member in the prison that was promised to be freed after he unalived R. Kelly. And basically he would unalive R. Kelly, get caught, officials allegedly would fumble the case, like the case would just get messed up with some evidence or something like that. The case would get buried. Then they would transfer that prisoner to another location where, you know, he would just be let go, essentially. So, crazy story. crazy story. It sounds very much movie oriented. This is also the creator of Trapped in the Closet, so I would not be surprised surprised that this was a part 8 and 9, because you know that's a long ass series. If y'all ever watched Trapped in the Closet, that's a long ass series. But this, I'm a kind of person where it's like when the story comes up and it sounds very elaborate, my first thought is, why the hell would somebody say something along those lines? I'm very big and selective on word choice, because people don't use certain vernacular, certain terminology in their day-to-day basis, especially when you get to know people for real. Certain people just don't say certain words. Some people don't have the intellect to utilize certain words and or comprehend what they mean to even use certain phrasing. So when I hear certain scenarios or certain stories, I call it my bullshit detector, because it's like, I don't know. Sometimes when hearing these things, you sound far-fetched, but sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued, because where the fuck did that come from? What made you say that? What made you bring this up? You know, so his team has been saying, you know, the reason for this happening is because his legal team found evidence that his court case that he had originally violated R. Kelly's rights. And apparently prison officials have caught wave of this and learned about this and are now trying to unalive him to kind of keep it silent. Again, very movie plot, very video game plot. Sounds crazy, but the guy comes in after this. His team, a few days later, reported R. Kelly was overdosed and rushed to a hospital. I kid y'all not, about 2 or 3 days after this was sent to officials to go ahead and get this emergency order to be released, it was shown that R. Kelly was given medication. I guess he has medication he takes in prison, where he was given medication and then doubled back to give another dose of medication. Apparently he had some hallucinations, saw some, you know, spots and stuff, and then fell out and officially overdosed. He got rushed to the hospital. They tried to bring him to the hospital in the prison, but apparently for some reason they could not see him, so they went ahead and brought him to a hospital outside of the prison. And at the hospital, it was shown that yes, he had a high dosage of medication in his system, but it also showed, because I guess he was complaining for some months about a swollen leg, it also showed that he had blood clots all in his body, like in his leg, in his lungs, and all of that. And the thing about blood clots, child, they can break off, go into your bloodstream, go to your heart, and you can just die. Yeah, that was shown in the hospital. And, you know, his team basically was saying that, along with the request for the early release, along with possible video footage that they may have for the prison showing him getting his medication and stuff, could all be opportunities to show that what he's saying is true. This could be used as evidence to show, yep, they're trying to unalive him. Now, again, for what reason, we don't 100% know, outside of what his legal team is saying, that they just found information that his court case violated his rights. But I don't know. I don't see why that would warrant collaboration with prison officials to try to attempt to take your life. I don't know what that would do. You know what I mean? Unless there's more to this story not being said. So, with that being said, we're going to stay up to date with what's going on. I'm praying and hoping R. Kelly is okay. In that sense, as far as being a person. And again, I just feel like stories is getting more and more crazy. Because this is a whole movie plot. Bring in Viola Davis. Bring in, what's that boy name who be in all them action movies? Bruce Willis. And what's the other dude name with the strong face? I forget his name, the white dude. Bring him in too. Because at this point, I I don't know. So R. Kelly, praying you get healthy. And you know, more of this information comes out soon, so we can kind of stay up to date with what's going on with that. All right, last but certainly not least, y'all, Cardi B announced her motherfucking album. Yeah. We don't have to begin for Cardi, just because, come on. Hey. Cardi B has officially announced her album. Y'all, people thought, you know, or really thinks, but thought back when I was doing my YouTube videos, specifically for like the artist reviews and stuff like that, or music reviews and videos stuff, that I just really did not like Cardi B. And I'm like, it's not that I don't not like Cardi B. I don't have an issue with this woman. I don't care enough about celebrities in the space to like people or not, in the sense of in the sense of being angry with folks, like, I ain't gonna support you. I don't. Now, people who are morally just bad people, absolutely, I don't leave it alone. But I have no reason, rhyme or reason, to not like Cardi B. Now, what I do not respect as an artist is when she entered the scene, the lackluster care for the craft of music, the artistry of music, her coming out and literally saying she gonna steal your favorite artist's flows and bars and just re-say them. I don't respect that. And as we've grown through these last few seasons of the show, I hope y'all recognize why I say that. I'm a creative. I value creativity. So when you get on candid camera and announce you don't give a fuck about none of that, you just here to make some money, by all means, get your bag. But when you are then later on complaining about not having the respect, the lineage, the accolades, or the notoriety for your craft from other artists that give a damn about their craft, that's where you've lost me. That's where I'm confused. Because you just said yourself you don't care about it. And on top of that, the way that people pitted her and other female artists against each other, especially with Nicki, really confused me. Because on one hand, you have a person who don't do the things that rap artists do when it comes to, you know, actually rapping or, you know, writing their lines and stuff like that. And then you're trying to compare a woman who has one album, a successful album at that. Let's clap that up. I do want to, yes, successful album. Don't get me wrong, I ain't gonna take that from nobody. A successful album, successful first album. That album was good. I had that in college. That was my group knew all them damn songs. Yes, successful album, but you took that one album from this one person and then tried to put that one album up against somebody who been here for damn near 15 years. Are you dumb? That's the part that got me. And it wasn't, again, not a dislike for Cardi B by no means. I know the girl's fine. But in this artistry space, I really feel there's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to this shit. And the minute people start comparing people like Cardi B to Nicki Minaj, that's like comparing Lil Uzi to Jay-Z. That's like comparing, you know what I'm saying? That's like comparing Kendrick Lamar to Lil Yachty. That's two different things. You get what I'm saying to you? So that's really what it has always been with me. It's just like Cardi is cool, got some cool catchy songs and stuff like that. But when you try so hard to, you know, outdo somebody who been doing this longer than you, it's crazy. And the mindset that y'all still ain't doing it. And that's not me being funny. That's not me being shady. That's not me being none of that. That's the facts. That's the facts. Not nan female artists out today eating Nicki Minaj up, and that's just that. But like I said before, they don't have to focus on this girl. And that's why I'm so happy she put her album out, because, bitch, people put out music and stuff, or specifically the female artists, put out albums and projects and videos and music specifically when Nicki is doing stuff. when Nicki's doing it. So I love when artists can just be in the artistry. Focus on you. Cardi B could have been so far, but no, you got caught up in the beef with Nicki. Megan, another one. You don't need to focus on Nicki. The thing with Megan, because now I'm going to go on a tangent. The thing with Megan is literally, baby, rap. You have the skill, the juice, the aura to do what you want. That's what you have on Cardi. You actually write your shit. But because you got caught up in the industry games, in the back and forth of fan bases and shit, y'all play yourselves. Y'all look goofy every time. Lotto, same thing. Stop feeding into the bullshit these industries and these record record labels and these fan bases want y'all to get geeked into. Y'all could have been all kumbaya, but y'all operated in ways that's just stupid. And I'm not saying stupid like Nicki Minaj can't be taken down, accolade wise, anything like that. But what I'm saying is y'all don't have it yet. Y'all don't have the time by no means. Y'all don't have the numbers by no means. Y'all don't have the albums by no means. Y'all don't have the accolades. Y'all don't have it yet. And we as artists get so consumed with this timing. We want it now, we want it now, we want it now. Hold on. And y'all have to be able to acknowledge the bullshit that happens in the real. Like when Cardi got that Grammy, we knew it was performative. We knew it was. The album was great, but the thought process, okay, if Cardi got an album for that one project, Nicki got two, three at this point, and they all performed at the same level and or better than Cardi. So that's the confusion. You get what I'm saying? It's not hating. It's pointing things out. The math not mathing. But I'm excited for Cardi's new album. It is titled Am I the Problem? You know, so she coming in with some this album finna be a key. It's scheduled for September 19th with allegedly 23 tracks. Singles like WAP, Up, Outside are featured on the project, which I personally think is smart because it does re-enter those songs that have already been released and, you know, proven to be successful, put on the project, and now is going to be, you know, generating more streams and record eligibility for, you know, these accolades. So that's I really caught that up. That's smart. That's smart. And if I'm not mistaken, if that's the case, that project would come in before the debut with already like 1 point something, maybe like 1.4, 1.5 million. I want to say a billion streams or sales or something like that already. Which is it's brilliant. And I feel like she finna drag everybody into that album. I feel like she finna drag everybody. This album has been waiting for 7 years, and 7 years is a long time. That's God's number. That's the number of completion. What's crazy? 7. Y'all, my Saya Elixir sitting right here. Saya Elixir, go ahead and get to that. 777. Stop playing with it. But 7 years is a lot of life. It's a lot of experiences, and Cardi's 7 years been a lot, you know, so I feel like she's finna get into it with what's going on with her on our set. Of course, she gonna get into, you know, being a mom. I'm gonna talk, definitely gonna discuss being a mother, like living with her kids and all that kind of stuff. I can see stuff coming up on Nicki, Megan. I'm excited. It's going to be a good project, and it's coming in September, so right before the fall season kind of goes into full effect. So y'all stay tuned. We will be getting that album again in September. I feel like she already got videos and stuff just waiting to be released. The thing with her and Megan, I really like a lot, and Lotto too, I will say, and Doja Cat. Them visuals, sheesh. Them visuals, them videos be crazy. They look so good. The visuals. That's one thing I will give the new artists of today, like the more recent people of today. The content creation behind stuff is taking a lot further. You know what I'm saying? And the attentiveness to not only like outfits and stuff like that, but like the scenery, the settings, and then some people doing them on their own budget, on their own dime. I gotta clap that up. Got to clap that up, my boy. So, with all that being said, Cardi, we looking forward to seeing this album come September 19th, and y'all lock in. And I really want to see how the public responds to this. So I'll keep y'all posted, and as we get more information, I'll be happy to share it here. Yes, well, that will conclude our episode 5 of Royal Voices Motherfucking Podcast. Yeah. So with the show continuing, y'all, like I said, Artist Spotlight will continue the next episode. Looking forward to that. A lot of things are in the works, y'all. Music is a brewing. I'm so excited. I'm going to be putting out release dates for stuff soon. Thank y'all for tuning in to today's episode. Make sure I stay up to date with everything going on with Kvngdom and Royal Voices Podcast. Follow us on our social medias. Kvngdom is KVNGDOM.co on Instagram and TikTok. And then Royal Voices Podcast is all one word. Royal Voices Podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Make sure you go ahead and tap into Kvngdom.com, KVNGDOM.com. Get your Kvngdom essentials to motherfucking day. Get into the vibe of that. And then lastly, of course, support your kid, your host, KVNGJAY, on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON _ and the link tree in my bio will have access to everything else I'll be tapped into. So with all that being said, thank y'all for tuning into today's episode of Royal Voices Podcast. And remember, we reign forever. Y'all stay safe out there.